Greetings, mortals, and welcome. Please present your tickets for validation. Thank you. Your existence has been acknowledged, and you have been granted access every Thursday and Friday. You will be accompanying your guides, Krista and Brandi, along with their world-renowned guest. They will be exploring an intriguing tendril of what humans refer to as reality each week, as they strive to advance you further down the path to the truths of your physical earth and what lies on the other side. Remember to please keep your hands and feet in the vehicle at all times, and do not exit until the craft has come to a complete stop.
Well, hello.
Howdy,
Happy
howdy.
friggin' Friday.
Hey.
See, here we go, stealing Texas crap again. All right.
We're on it together. It's only fair.
Okay, I'll give you that one. Yeah.
I'm even wearing my Texas hat as usual. See? It's only fair.
All right, I love you. How's that?
Oh, what are we flipping people around?
Well, I was kind of hoping that it would be like me and Donnie down here and you up here, and it'd be like inverted. That it would be, so you'd be on top because it's your show, but it didn't work out that way. So
well, you know. We're playing musical
there we
stuff.
go. There we go.
Shouldn't I be the little one and you guys be the big ones?
No. It's your show. We're the sidekicks on this one.
Right. Well, I just want to welcome everybody to the show. Hi, everybody. I want to talk real quick again. This thing's creeping up on us. It's October 26th. It is the afternoon paranormal cryptid 101s and our nighttime ghost hunt. It's going to be held in Richmond, Missouri at the Ray County Museum. It's going to be a fantastic night. We have our friend Greg Ogle showing up. We have Paranormal Paul's going to show up. Our friends Paranormal After Dark are going to be there. It's just going to be a great all-day thing. I mean, you can come and listen to some speakers in the afternoon, have dinner, ghost hunt all night. But if you don't want to do all of it and you just want to do the afternoon, it's super cheap. So for more information, just go to Eventbrite, look under Blondes and Booze, and it should be the very first one that pops up for events.
Evidently, I pissed Poncho off.
Uh-oh. What'd you do, Tex?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not
Hey,
know.
everybody. Let's see what we got into chat. It's Werewolf. Hey there, Corey Cole.
I know. I see a lot of
Jason
people
Finch.
in there. I'm glad to see everybody.
A lot of
Right.
our regulars. Big Bird's here. JoJo is here. John Tempreen. Val. Foster Bennett. Hey, everybody. All right. Let's talk about some Bigfoot stuff.
He said Texas sucks. He was talking about the football team.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I'm like, what did I do?
What did I do? I don't know.
I've been sleeping all day. What did I do?
I'm innocent. Yeah. It's just a lot of weird things have been going on this week. And, they haven't been paranormal. They have been just life things. And it's just been very strange. And, but I finally, for everybody out there, I did get my brother home from the hospital today. He seems to be doing much better than what he was. So we're going to make some dietary changes and stuff for him, and hopefully he'll be on the track to better health for sure.
That's
So
awesome.
thank you everybody for your prayers and thoughts and all that good stuff. It's actually really helped. It really has. So
Well, it damn sure can't hurt.
mhm. Now he can't see nothing. Did he take his glasses off? Yeah. Takes his glasses off, can't see a thing. So how was your week been, Donnie?
Oh, it looks like I've got the Blondes and Booze as a poster on my wall. And yes, that is a poster on my wall. I am a Blondes and Booze super fan.
Yes.
That is the only poster
It does
on my
look
wall.
like that. Like
Yeah.
you got it, like it's almost like a drape or something.
Oh,
You gotta hang
Brandi,
it
you
down
didn't
there.
know I'm your #1 fan.
Well, see, you need her only Squatch poster back there is what you need.
That's it. Yep. We need the only Squatch back.
Yeah.
So
But
I have
anyway,
see
go ahead.
something that I'm going to show y'all. I have when I have a bad day, I have this.
What is that?
Hang on a second.
Not today spray.
Not today spray?
Mm-hmm.
Try this.
Oh. I don't even
Life
know.
sucks. Not today. Spray.
Yeah,
Ooh.
not today. I wore that to the hospital yesterday. I'm like, not today. I don't know. Just been crazy. Just been crazy. Something's
Oh,
really
wow.
been bothering me though. I mean, about the whole situation. And I kind of talked about it. Need prayers, East Tennessee, Asheville, North Carolina. Absolutely. I have been praying for a lot of people all day long, and Kyle,
Yeah.
I sure will include them.
Mhm.
I know they got hit hard, and it's just crazy. I don't even know what the death toll is up to, but I read somewhere it was like 33 this afternoon.
Jeez.
So
Well, and they had a dam break too.
that's just crazy.
Yikes.
And if anybody looks at the the radar of what this thing looks like now, it is still huge. Of course, it's just rain now, but this thing still is super, super huge. And I'm smack dab in the middle of it. I mean, it's been raining here for like 15 hours straight. And, everything's starting to flood. I'm on some rivers that, if the levees break, I could be in potential trouble myself. So I get what everybody's saying right now. It's just too much rain. It needs to stop. And if everybody remembers, we were talking about Francine, what was it? Last month, I think it was last month. I got the tail end of that where all it did was rain, rain, rain. And I still had water in my ditches that were, that was still just hanging out. So,
Yeah. The dam flooded Newport, Tennessee. They evacuated the whole town.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, my heart goes out to them for sure, because there's so many people that are still without power or flooded out, or I saw that a lot of tornadoes were going through last night. I was noticing there was a bunch in southern Florida and then up through Georgia. I just can't imagine all that. I'm in a landlocked state. That's it.
Well,
and I'm getting flooded, so I can't imagine what some of these other places were doing.
all these coastal cities, towns, and states. Oh yeah, it's
Ristol said Hellbent Hollers area got devastated, and the neighbor was apparently killed by a tree through the roof.
oh
Wow.
wow.
Well, they said that it hit land at a category 4, so
Yeah, it did.
and it was massive.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because Tennessee, I'm looking at the forecast for Monroe County, and it's for the next all the way up until all the way through Tuesday. It's raining.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it's looking like here too. We're gonna get a little reprieve tomorrow morning, afternoon ish, and then it's gonna start in raining again. So yeah,
That's going to be a
it's
lot of flooding, a lot of flash
yeah,
floods.
yeah,
It's going to be
yeah.
bad.
So
Same thing with Florida. It's crazy. Anyway, golly.
well, they're
Mm.
sitting right at sea level. It's like how could they not get flooded? You know, and I took also a look at the radar, and it's like if you watch the map, it was raining all over the world. It looked like, I mean, just everywhere it was raining. Just not just here. I mean, everywhere. And I'm like, what is happening?
They had a 20-foot tidal surge.
Mm.
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Smith says a big dam at Douglas Lake can't hold it all back. I'm guessing if the big dam at Douglas Lake can't hold it all back, you can kiss parts of Knoxville and Chattanooga goodbye. Yeah, this is bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, it's got to stop raining. It just has to stop. We need a little reprieve for what's happening here.
Yeah. Holston River's 16-foot over flood stage. I mean, we've seen that stuff down here on a rare occasion, but it's.
Mm-hmm. I haven't even seen what the Mississippi's doing at this point, because that could cause a problem all the way down.
Yeah. Yep, it could.
Yeah. So, well, I just pray that.
Yeah, because that's when the Mississippi River floods out. That wreaks havoc all the way down through, Galveston or Freeport.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. So,
I mean, hell, in places that river's already a mile wide. That's
yeah,
normal.
right. We normally don't have problems with the Mississippi. It's the smaller rivers that we have the issues with.
That all feed into the Mississippi.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
And that.
folks, everybody's, praying for everybody. I think
Yeah.
over here on the island of Misfit Toys, we are anyway.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. Even Donny said he's feeling some of the effects up there. He's said there's been a lot of rain up there.
It's been raining nonstop here, and this is Maryland, so we're fair distance, but yeah, nonstop.
I don't know.
Well, there's a reason, and people talk about how unusual the weather is and all this kind of stuff. I know they can control it to a certain point. There's a reason cloud seeding exists, and it's been going on for 100 years. But I don't know how much control they actually have over this kind of stuff. But it's not all that. We're the poles are shifting, and it's going to jack things up naturally. Earth's going through a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
there's also talk about we're seeing the beginnings of the next ice age, which we're due for. So, you know, and you know, and the thing about it is, a lot of when you say ice age, a lot of people confuse it with the whole world's frozen. No, that's not necessarily the
No,
case.
we're actually technically not out of the ice age. We're technically still in it. If you want to get all scientifically technical about it.
Yeah, certainly, let's get all sciencey on it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I don't know. Do you think that, you know, like looking at the radar, like I said, there's rain all around the world. And I mean, it's widespread. It's not just little spots. I mean, it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you think this may be like one of those things where the earth is going to cool itself? Because we have been getting hotter and hotter and hotter every single year for, you know, for a while now.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if the earth is finally going, hey, this is enough. We got to have something happen. We've got to have some rain. We got to cool this down, you know. And I'm wondering if the earth is, I don't know, tipping or, you know, doing this by itself to produce the rain, or this unsettled weather patterns that we've been having. I don't know. I don't know what the scientific way would be for that.
Well, here's my take on it. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. Climate change is a thing, naturally and man-made. We're not necessarily the cause of what's going on, but we're not helping matters any.
Right.
With everything we do to not just the atmosphere, but the earth itself. But a lot of it is, you know, the earth taking its natural course of things, you know, like the poles flipping. It's nothing new, folks. It happens. But with us depleting the resources, you know, the deforestation is a huge one. Huge.
Right.
You know, because that's where our oxygen comes from, folks. And I have got, I'm not saying I'm a, you know, bleeding heart, tree hugging, kiss the Wookiee type person, but, it has gotten, and especially my older, what is it? My silver years, my golden years, silver years, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, whatever it is, I have, when I look at a tree that gets cut down, it saddens me.
Yes.
These big trees that they cut down, it just, I mean, it's like, God, you know, because I start thinking these trees are hundreds of years old, you know. And I look around at and all these places being sold off and developed and houses popping up, and we just can't seem to learn a lesson, you know.
You would think that, you know, with everything happening, we would learn.
But greed overruns all that.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Yeah.
we're going to have more and more concrete jungles, you know. But that's just my. You want to call me a tree hugger? Call me a tree hugger. I don't care. I'm all about quit killing the damn whales. You ain't got no reason to kill them, you know.
I don't know. You know, I've noticed, especially, you know, ghost hunting and things like that, and going to these places that I go to, you can see where the earth is reclaiming its ground a lot. It's earth will win. It will.
Yeah, I agree, Werewolf. Earth will win.
Right.
You can beat a lot of things. Nature's not one of them.
Yeah, I'm seeing nature reclaiming a lot of things. You know, if it's not being upkept, it's yeah. I've seen it. I mean, I'm watching these old historical homes and other type buildings, and they're just being reclaimed. And that's just the way it's going to be. I think that's how nature's going to do it. It's just going to start reclaiming anything that it can to replace all of the, the trees and everything that we're taking away from it.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't take long for nature. You leave something alone for a little bit, and nature will jump right back in the middle of it. You know, I was watching a deal the other day about this castle, and that's in Scotland, and it's only been abandoned since right after World War II, and I mean, it's got huge trees growing right up through it and everything, and it's been condemned because it's falling apart. And that's where it was the same. It's the same castle that was used as a hospital in World War II, and it's the same castle where that Nazi crash landed. What was his name? Dadgummit. Let's see, Nazi crashed in Scotland. But he was one of the big dogs. Rudolf Hess. He parachuted into Scotland in a failed attempt to negotiate peace with Germany and Britain.
Oh, you're talking about the guy they based what was that movie off of? Shoot. Wasn't that the Tom Cruise movie kind of based off that? The guy tried to like assassinate the him and then ran off to Scotland, tried to
maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I'm not quite I don't remember it from totally.
Yeah, it's Rudolf Hess. Rudolf Hess.
I don't know. I
Kyle,
mean,
you do not. Kyle says, I do apologize, host and viewers, for hijacking the subject. Please forgive me. You did not hijack the subject at all. We did not have a subject.
What subject?
That's why it says
matter.
anything.
Were we
I don't
hijacked?
I don't care what we're talking about when we start talking about stuff happening to people and places and people that need prayer, and we need to raise awareness for what's going on around us.
Yeah.
That takes precedence. I don't care what we're talking about. So you did not hijack the show.
You guys want to see what it looks like to hijack a show? Oh, I can show you.
Oh God, here we go.
I can show you.
Okay, Donnie.
I could, but I won't.
Okay.
Because I'm merciful.
Well, let's kind of change gears here. Now, Krista couldn't be here this evening because it's her turn for her daughter and her band to be at the football game and their homecoming thing. It's her week. So she set up the show for us and she gave us a thumbnail like she does every show. She tries to make the thumbnail according to what our subjects are going to be. Donnie or Tex, can you show us the thumbnail that she left this time?
Oh, yeah. I think I wonder who that's supposed to represent.
Well, I am obviously the guy in the middle.
Yeah. I think, does Krista think I'm a blonde woman?
Maybe.
She may. And wear your hair in braids. That's possible.
I've never once worn my hair in braids. I did dye my hair blonde once, but.
And for those of you that do not know the real Brandi, she shaved when she started the Blondes and Booze. But yeah, when she grows it, lets it go. And we had this conversation about you being a bearded lady the other day. She turns ginger and grows a red beard. And see, there you go.
What happens? I don't know. It's just one of the things. It's just one of those things. But no, I thought that thumbnail was super cute, and I'm like, she's making fun of us. Look at her.
No,
No.
not Krista.
I just
Yeah.
can't. I just can't imagine Donnie with the beard like that.
It's hard to
I-
tell me and Tex apart sometimes. You know that?
It is.
Like, yeah.
We get accused of being twins all the time.
Hey, remember that time, Tex, when we were in Alabama? We met up at that one. It was at that buffet, that country buffet,
Yeah.
and it was all these old country people, and I was there by myself, and I was kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. And then you came in, and then you and I hugged each other in the middle of the buffet, and everyone sitting at tables was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah.
And then they're like, and then I'm like thinking back at them, and I'm like, yes, doppelgangers do exist.
They do.
Yeah.
I
Because they were like,
know.
it was
It was like looking in a
God, there's
mirror.
another.
yeah, they saw like two Asian dudes, two
Yeah.
guys like me. They're like,
Mhm.
what the heck? And I'm like, yes, identical
Yeah.
twins, because we look that much alike.
I don't know. The only way I can tell you apart is
Yeah.
one has a beard and one doesn't. That's the only reason why I can.
That's
tell
why
you
I
apart
don't
right
wear
now.
the hat, because if I wore the hat, people would be like, are you Tex? I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm Donny Cho.
Yeah, because if I take my hat off,
Oh gosh, I know. I mean, like I said, the only way I know to tell you two apart is one has a beard and one doesn't.
yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
yep.
Oh
It-
my goodness, but that was funny. But I want to jump back to that climate change thing. You know, because we've talked about on other shows about the whole cryptid thing and how
Mhm.
we're encroaching on their living room. Say we're just getting in their houses is basically what
Right,
we're doing. We're building our homes in their homes. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
But because of all of these things happening, I believe that I don't know what do you think that it's going to make them come out more into the open, or are we going to see a decline in their type of population where the reports are going to become less and less?
I think because honestly, we're seeing them. They're kind of like the whole bear thing. They're getting more. They seem to be not bothered by humans so much.
Which is
Yeah.
not a good thing.
I don't know. It seems like lately encounters have been more frequent than anything.
Mhm.
And this
Mhm.
climate change stuff has been going on for the past few decades. It seems like it's been accelerating. More and more stories than there ever were. Although
Well,
there are more and
right.
more means
Well-
by which, yeah.
Well, let's
Right.
take the last couple of days' weather. Okay, all this flooding and everything. They're going to move to high ground, and if
Yeah.
high ground happens to be, well, we're usually not smart enough to build in high ground. We build on floodplains for some reason. They're going to high ground laughing at us right now. But I think I think it all depends really, because I think we're going to see a time where we see the sightings increase, and that's where we're at right now. Okay. Now it's either going to go one or two ways. They're going to get more used to us. And if we get the word out and less people are shooting at them,
Right.
we could see them around the urban areas more so than we
Mhm.
already do. Or, and I think this is a portion of them, they're going to move further back into the brush, into the places that we do not go. And that's where Theodore Roosevelt's plan goes into with the national parks and the state parks too. Gives them a place to go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm just, because when we're in Brown Springs, of course, we know where they're going.
Yeah.
when it's starting to flood and everything out there, we know where they're going. They're going on the Texas side, the high side.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm just wondering if they have to keep doing, like, if they had to keep doing that over and over and over, how long will it take before they just won't return? They're just, you're like, we can't ever go over there. We're just going to stay over here now. They're going to have to find something better on that side instead of to keep returning to the Oklahoma side.
Well, and I don't think that's ever going to happen, because when that river goes down, they go across and everything. That river would have to flood out and stay flooded for it to be a true separation.
Right.
Because that river gets low enough where it's low enough to walk across at times. Same thing with the Brazos. So I don't think we'll ever have that problem, unless there's a bunch of dams that give way, and then we may have that problem.
I mean, it used to be like that back in the Pleistocene, during Megalodon's day, because I did research this during that episode we did about Megalodons. Megalodon's one of their main, I guess, habitats was actually the middle of the U.S., because at that time the U.S. was not the U.S. as we know it. It was actually two continents separated by a body of water. And that particular body of water, it wasn't even a body of water. It was just like, it was basically like two island continents that faced each other in the ocean.
Right.
Right. And that bit of ocean, the strip of ocean that was like, that went through in between those two islands, that was where like all these gnarly like fossils were being found. Right. That's where you find them. But yeah, we were at one point two separate giant island continents. Right.
Well, I know, like in this area, we sit on an ancient seabed.
Yeah.
I was talking to Brandi about this the other day. And in fact, her and Monica are going to go fossil hunting in November. But I was telling her that I was up in Ruidoso on vacation a few years back, and there's a place up there. It's called Fox Cave, and it's kind of neat. It's a rock shop, basically, that's dug into the side of a mountain. And I was talking to the guy there because I was seeing these, and I cannot ever remember the name of them. There's those spiral fossils that you see with the bands, and they were those little squid-looking creatures. I say little. But he had them, these fossils that are this big around, with the bands about 2 or 3 inches wide, for a couple of $100 to up to $1,000. And I was looking at them, and I said, "Man," I said, "I need to go down there and get that one that I know where it's at." And he goes, "Well, how big is it?" I told him, I said, "I don't know. It's about 4 feet tall." The bands on it, outside bands on it, about that wide. He goes, his eyes bugged out. He goes, "Where is it?" And I was telling him about this place. I said, "We got them all over the place down there in North Texas. It's nothing to find these things, and nothing to find big ones. So."
Oh, I was wrong about one thing though. It wasn't during the Pleistocene. It was actually during the Cretaceous. I actually am going to pull up a picture of what America used to look like during the Cretaceous period. And you tell
that'll
me
be
what you think.
interesting to see what it looks like.
This is This is a map of America when T-Rex was walking around. This is what I'm talking about. It used to be Laramida and Appalachia. There were two separate continents, right?
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So the seabed that was running through in the middle of America, that's what America looked like at that time when it was a seabed.
So
And they said that they said not the megalodon. I think it was I think this was Cretaceous era, like Spinosaurus, T-Rex. The thing is, the reason why there's so many fossils, because that seabed was actually shallow, because it was the middle of America, right? It wasn't like the bottom of the ocean or nothing.
Right.
But sea life tends to, a lot of the big sea life, they tend to actually favor more the shallow waters, like coral reefs and stuff.
Mhm.
That's why you would see a lot of fossils there. But yeah, that's what America used to look like back in those days. That is, if you believe in, millions of years ago. Jason would probably, if Jason were here, he'd be like screaming and hollering, be like, "Young
Yeah,
Earth creation Genesis." I'm like, "Yeah, here, Jason McLean, 65 million years. That's right."
yeah, because that's an actual picture they took at 65 million years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, yeah, I
From
mean,
a satellite.
our alien overlords were kind enough to donate
Yeah.
this photo. Yeah.
So, but and I don't want to get into the whole religion subject, but my belief
Mhm.
is because I believe in creation,
Mhm.
but I also believe in evolution.
Yeah. Why can't both be true, right? Why
I
can't
think
both
they
be true?
are.
Yeah.
I think they are because I think
Why do they have to be
I don't
mutually
think-
exclusive?
because I don't think when he talks about creating it in 7 days, I don't think he measured time like we do.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
I mean, we're still living and changing through evolution. I mean,
Right.
think of this: we acclimate to our environment.
Yeah.
When I live in the South, I can handle the heat better after a certain amount
Well,
of time.
you especially see it with like freshwater fish. They change real quick with
Yeah.
I mean, if you've seen how quick evolution can go, it can
Mhm.
be quick. It can be.
Right. I mean, we have sharks now that can swim in salt or fresh water.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a pretty
And they're-
cool thing. With
And
Bull
they
sharks
got
can do that, right? Is that
Yeah,
what bull
and-
sharks do? Yeah.
Yeah, and they stay pissed off all the time. Bull sharks are a-holes.
they're like, this water's too hot.
Mm.
This water's too cold.
I mean,
They don't know
technically,
where they wanna be.
salmon do the same thing, right? Don't they?
Oh,
swim in
yeah,
fresh-
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
I believe we are all changing from generation to generation, depending on what our environment is at the time.
Yep.
And JoJo, you're right. Crocs can do that too.
Mhm.
You should ask them down in Florida. They got the Nile Crocs in Florida now.
Oh, I know. No, thank y'all. Stay away from them. Them
We were
critters can
talking
just
about
stay
Florida.
there.
Florida is the whole ecosystem down there is changing because of all the invasive species. You
Mhm.
know, and they're going to have to make adjustments, and all of that is now that part's a man-made issue.
Mhm.
It's just like the Asian carp.
They did that to the Mississippi. They sure did.
Yeah.
And not just the Mississippi, they got the same problem in the Great Lakes.
Mhm. They didn't realize that these creatures would reproduce so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a big mess. I mean, every time that we're on the Mississippi and we start the boat and start going down the river, the carp are just flying right out of the air.
Right.
So, and I've
hurt
always
you.
talked about we've made it into a game now.
Yep, John. I was just
we-
fixing to bring that up.
Yeah, we've made it into a game. We have baseball bats, ball gloves, tennis rackets, you name it. Them things come flying. It's just like you tee up and get ready to get ready to roll.
Well, are they edible? Can you eat them?
You can.
Yeah.
I won't,
Why not?
because once you've been hit by one and they're very slimy. They're very slimy and they do have a distinctive pungent smell. I would never eat them.
Do you know anyone who's ever tried cooking one up and seeing how they taste though?
Not an
Yeah,
Asian
they
carp,
do it.
but-
They do it here in
Oh.
I want to say it's in Crothersville, Missouri, which is it's right on the Mississippi there. Because the Asian carp are just like they're basically smothering all the other fish.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to show people, hey, you can eat these, you can fish for these. They're trying to show them that, hey, they're edible.
I'm pretty
And
sure
they
I've
show
eaten
people.
my fair share of Asian carp. I'm
Probably.
pretty
Well,
sure I have. We
I
eat
don't.
it.
I mean, hey, if I'm hungry enough, sure, yeah.
We
That's
eat
what I
it.
tell a lot of people. They're like, everybody's like, ooh, I wouldn't eat that. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, you haven't been hungry then. Wait till
Well,
you're hungry.
it's like, buffalo and carp down here. It's always
Wait, let me
been.
see if there's a Korean dish that has carp in it. I'm
It's like
curious.
we've always considered them trash fish. You can eat
Yeah.
them. There are people that eat them, and they say they're really good. And like I said, down here they're trash fish for us as far as fishermen go. But then you go over to England and they're a game fish. So carp
Mhm.
fishing is real big over in England. So
Yeah,
it's like
it's
it's
not
like
going to be
people.
my number one fish to eat.
Well, it's like me and black bass. I don't enjoy eating black bass. You
Hmm.
know, I catch and release black bass. I catch and release just about anything I catch nowadays. But if I'm going to eat a fish, it's going to be a channel cat or crappie.
Hmm.
And sand bass. But
Hmm.
and you're talking about fish that go from saltwater to freshwater.
Mm.
Striped bass,
Yeah.
the striper, or originally are a saltwater fish.
Hmm.
And now you got when we got the striped bass in these lakes and rivers
Hmm.
down here. They bred with the white bass or the sand bass, and now we have hybrids. So which are not
Well,
as
what
big
is
as
the
which is not as big as a sand bass. I mean, and not as big as a striped bass, and has different markings, but they still get pretty. Well, and
but
Missy Bush is right. Missy Bash. Missy Bash. I'm sorry. Is right. Bluegill are great. Well, crappie and bluegill are the same family of fish. They are what's called panfish. They're very white and flaky meat.
what is that phrase, Donnie, that you used about we were talking about it. And you kind of coined this phrase, and I love this phrase, and you call it quasi-cryptids.
Quasi-cryptids, yeah.
Quasi-cryptids. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I had it right.
Oh yeah, I just had to make sure. Yeah, we Asians, we do eat carp, and we eat the hell out of it. Dang. I was just looking at recipes. I'll share some with you. Actually, I was looking for Korean dishes that have carp in it. We actually don't eat carp. We eat a lot of like red snapper.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good too. I like it. I like that. Explain to us what that term means to you.
Hold on. Does that look bad? Everyone's talking about carp like it's like they're like, ew, I would never eat carp. It's gross. I'm looking at this, I'm like, don't look all that gross to me. I'd eat it. Wouldn't you?
Well, some people won't eat anything where they can
Okay.
see the face. I don't have.
All right. Anyway, Brandi, to your question, a quasi-cryptid is okay. It's not quite a cryptid. It's more of an animal, but its
Mhm.
behavior is so odd or extreme that it might as well be a cryptid. That's where the
Okay.
word quasi comes from.
So that brings me to what I was going to say
Mhm.
about these fish that walk on land.
Walking catfish.
Walking catfish?
Yep.
Yeah, they
Is
just
that a real thing?
Yeah.
it's a real thing. Because I think with that definition you just gave,
Mm-hmm.
that's a prime example.
Now look up the walking catfish, Don.
Well, okay. So for those of you who, because Brandi, you and I talked about this, right? But for like
Mhm.
text and the people listening at home, let me give you
Mhm.
guys a real good example of a quasi-cryptid, okay? The Bondo ape. You know the Billy ape? in Africa.
Well, the Bono ape?
Yeah. No, the Bondo ape. Not bonobos, but the ones that are called like lion killers. Apparently they're chimpanzees, but they stand over 6 feet tall.
Oh, yeah.
And science, they acknowledge that they're real, right? They're not saying they're not real. Like they're already just, there's no myth or speculation about them, right? They're just there. But they're so bizarre and just so crazy that they might as well be on the same level as Bigfoot. Like you have these tribes of like 6'2" chimpanzees that go around killing lions with their bare hands, and they'll catch people for food. I mean, that's just as crazy as a Bigfoot, if you ask me, right? Not a cryptid, quasi-cryptid, because science acknowledges that they're real, right?
So where are those where do those hail from?
The Bondo apes, the Congo.
Okay. See, I wonder if that's what that book Congo was written about.
I think so, actually. I think so. I'm not sure, but I would speculate that I think so. I think that's what Michael Crichton had in mind. Because they've been around for a while, right? There's been Joe Rogan talks about them all the time because they're actually out there, or people believe that they're out there.
Well, I thought they had been officially discovered and we're on the list now.
Yeah, but they haven't been observed very much. But they're just way too dangerous. You can't Jane Goodall that. You can't have a nice like scientist.
Yeah, you can't have a nice family.
Oh, and I lived among them.
unit.
No, you ain't doing that with no Bondo ape tribe. Hell no. That's a bad idea. So people stay away. Even like the locals in the Congo, they say, or everyone says, yeah, there's two kinds of chimps. They call them the tree dwellers, which are the regular chimps, and the lion killers. And people are like, what are the lion killers? Oh, they're just like regular chimps, except they're like man size and they kill lions.
Well, they are strong enough to do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, you put a bunch of monkeys together, and honestly, just the regular old monkeys that everybody's used to. When you say monkey, that's what they think of. Or even the apes or anything. I mean, you get a few of them together, and then you have a lion or anything run into them. You may lose a few monkeys, but the lion's gonna go.
Oh yeah,
I've
seen clips of like chimpanzees are considered pretty gnarly in their own right,
yes.
right? They're stronger than normal men, and they have a mean streak. But I tell you, I've seen videos where they would have a chimpanzee group, and then a leopard shows up, and that chimpanzee group acts like Godzilla showed up or something. They flip out. They're just grabbing their kids. They're like, "Get out of here! It's a leopard." I mean, they still fear, like, I saw this one funny one where they set up like a robot leopard, with a camera inside it just to see, and they just put it up to a chimpanzee family, and it took them a while to figure out that it was like not a real leopard, but it was kind of hilarious being like, seeing them freak out at first and then throw rocks at them, and then just slowly like kind of poke it with a stick, and then it falls over and they don't know what to think.
Oh my goodness, that probably blew their mind.
Yeah, that must have blown their minds. Yeah. But
to
think that there's lion killers, man. To think that there's a group of chimps out there that are like, not as big as Bigfoot. Bigger than regular chimps, but not as big as Bigfoot, right? Bigfoot's just crazier because Bigfoot's huge, right?
Right.
But I don't know. What would be if you came across one Bigfoot versus a squad of lion killers? I don't know. I'd probably take my chances with the Bigfoot, honestly.
I don't know. You get numbers, and it's hard to overcome.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're coming at you in all directions. They're going to get you eventually. It might take them a minute, but they'll get you.
Well, yeah. I mean, what happens if you come across an entire squad of Bigfoot? You're pretty much, well, I'm at their mercy now. That's a wrap if they decide to.
Oh. Right.
That is true.
Yeah.
But it is making me wonder about this hurricane and how it swept through the whole entire like Florida into Georgia, and you've got to wonder what the Squatch have been doing. Where have they been seeking refuge?
Oh, they just go back into their portals.
Is that what they do?
They're just like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go chill over here on this other dimension now. I'm going to pop through my magical portal.
Well, that's if you believe that side of it.
Yeah. See you guys in a couple weeks. They're not staying in no caves. Those things flood with a quickness. Like, flash floods are a real hazard. But if you're like dwelling in the cave systems, no, you ain't staying in there. Those things flood like crazy during this kind of weather.
Right. Well, I know in Georgia they can get to, somewhat higher ground. They can get to higher ground there, but I mean, I just don't know what they're doing in Florida. I don't know. I don't know how they would protect themselves, honestly.
I think I think they have places that they already know they can go, because this is not their first rodeo.
I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing.
They can feel it coming.
Yeah.
Versus us, who are kind of stupid. I'm just going to say that. We are stupid because we have to rely on a television set or a radio station to tell us.
Meanwhile, cut to all of the Bigfoots are hanging out on a beach somewhere, like on the totally other side of the continent, because they saw this thing coming like weeks ahead, and they all just decide, they're all like, you know what, let's go south, let's go to the beach. They're in like Cancun right now.
Yeah, they're like, okay, everybody, we're going to Texas.
They're probably looking at the humans and being like, oh man, those idiot humans stayed? Why would they stay?
Right.
Well, we're so stupid that even when we're told to leave, we stay.
Oh, yeah. True.
So, and I'm not talking I'm not just talking about hurricanes. Mount St. Helens ring a bell?
People stayed?
Oh, yeah.
Well, and they knew. They were told. But I mean, if you give me like 3 hours in my house, 3 hours, I will be able to get everything of sentimental value into my vehicles and get out. You can have the rest. I don't care about it.
You know what sentimental value means to me? My family. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, just a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just a thing. That's just me.
But for these hurricanes, they're giving days in advance. I mean, they're saying this is what could be happening. Like I said, all I need is 3 hours.
I'm curious though, Tex. Okay, let's say your family is safe though. What is the first thing you save?
Probably the only pictures I have of my mother and dad, and my grandfather's watch and my dad's gun.
I thought you were going to say your car.
No. Where we go, if they're safe, we're going in my truck.
Oh, your truck is what gets them safe. Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah.
He's got the loophole. He figured out the loophole.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm not that attached to my truck either. If I had to leave it behind, it's gone.
Oh, really? You love that thing, though. I've seen you like talk to her like she was your girlfriend.
Well, you're not wrong.
I mean, I don't.
You're not wrong. But when it comes down to it, it's an inanimate object. No, I don't have a strange. I don't have a strange love affair with an inanimate object.
If a bird poops on your truck, do you like flip out?
I just washed my truck today from the last trip to Brown Springs.
Really?
I just now got all the white dust off.
What you know what Tex calls that? He calls that quality time.
There you go.
Alone time with my girl.
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He pampers his women.
Yeah, I bathe it once a couple of months.
Yeah, I just don't know. I wish we knew more about Bigfoot. I mean, because it would be interesting to find out. Because I mean, they always talk about the skunk ape,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the area that this thing hangs out in was hit heavily. You know, it just devastated a lot of that down through there. And not to mention, uh, a lot of the gators are. I want to call it misplaced now, and I'll explain what I mean. When gators were found up where I lived in Florida, they would come get them and then they would take them to a lake where they let them go. That was their lake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But when something like this happens, they kind of get into other streams, waterways, and make
Right.
their way around. So I
Yeah.
mean that's just another thing they've got to deal with. It's kind of like with the manatees. Up in Weeki Wachee Springs, which is on the Gulf Coast side. They fence it off so the gators can't get in to where the manatees are, and they kind of just block that off. But they've had hurricanes before where the gates have been moved or shifted, and gators were everywhere. So I mean, I'm just wondering
My
how
favorite
that's going to
stories.
affect everything.
My favorite stories are when gators show up on golf courses.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mine
And they
is
just
swimming
scared the crap
pools.
out of some golfers. Yeah, you stick it to those guys.
Yeah, mine's swimming pools. I like when they show up in swimming pools.
People's swimming pools.
Yeah, because you
There's
think
been a,
you're going to
there's
go
been
out
a,
there for a nice little swim.
there's been a couple of golfers that were killed.
Oh, that's not cool. By a gator?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
In
Florida.
How big was the gator? Because they don't usually kill people like that. That's usually crocodiles.
Well, I mean, it don't take a big gator to drown a human. If they get us over our heads in the water, they're pretty much done.
Oh, they're going to put you in a death roll and you're gone.
Yeah. Well, then you got that idiot that he got drunk and stupid drunk. The sign said gators in this do not swim.
Man, that's a terrible way to go.
Could
you imagine that the last thought going through that guy's head must have been, "Oh no, I should have hit the ball in the green. Why did I hit it in the water?" Yeah, man, he paid the ultimate price for sucking at golf.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, Deborah, we are discussing we're discussing gators, crocs,
Bondo apes.
We're discussing the. I don't know. I guess we're discussing how Bigfoot made out in the hurricane.
Yeah,
I think Bigfoot.
Now, I think they have places to go.
Yeah.
And I think they leave before we do.
I'm serious when I'm thinking. I bet you Bigfoot wonders how we fare during hurricanes, because he probably looks at us and he's like, "You guys don't know what the heck you're doing at all, right?"
Well, it's no different than forest fires.
I'm sure they're. You notice the animals rarely ever get affected by this stuff because they always know to leave. They're just like, okay.
They do, because you'll watch flocks of birds just
they're just like, okay,
flying in a weird direction, and you're like, where are you going?
Yeah,
it's almost as if they're migrating prematurely or something like that.
We do stupid crap like camp through tornado warnings.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bigfoot's probably looking at a tornado and then he's looking at it hit like a town or something, and he's like in disbelief, like, the people didn't move. Why would they not move? He's probably like, I don't understand human beings sometimes.
Right?
Everything else moves. Everything else moves. You never heard about a pack of wild horses getting destroyed by tornadoes. Right. You don't hear about a flock of birds ever getting
Right.
Yeah,
Well, think of about the wildlife that you hear, big wildlife.
yeah.
About how often do you hear about big wildlife being killed and this stuff? Not often.
No, I
It's
don't know.
domesticated stuff
Yeah.
like horses and
It's the
cows.
domesticated animals that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild animals pretty rare. I mean, that's why Smokey the bear was such an anomaly, because they found this bear cub clinging to a tree that had been badly burned in the forest fire, and they rescued him.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear about that. I mean, when's the last time you heard something like that?
Right.
Yeah.
We got what, one or two stories of Bigfoot being caught in forest fires, and then dragging him off, and saving him, smoke jumpers doing it. But other than that, no. And if you have an event like Mount St. Helens,
That's different.
that's different. I mean, there's
that's
nothing
different.
left of them.
Yeah,
really.
Sometimes you're just not fast enough.
What's not burnt is buried. So,
Well, I don't know, because with Mount St. Helens, because they say animals can kind of feel when earthquakes come, right? And they know when it's about to happen, they'll move out of the area. I think there are a lot of.
They get far enough out of the area is the deal.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what kind of animal you are and how fast they move, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're something like that. You're talking about almost instantaneous total devastation.
Right, but there's always going to be like tremors before a major eruption like that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that does send them running.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna feel, some of the movement before it even happens.
Right. I think that, and they pick up, they'll pick up on. That's when we start talking about infrasound and ultrasound. They can pick up those things before we can. Certain humans can pick them up, but not many. That's what was throwing us off when we were taking those infrasound ultrasound readings that time down in Brown Springs, out in the middle of the damn woods. We were picking that stuff up constantly, and honestly, I think it was geothermal, earth noise.
Make it simple. Earth noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are several places that I can think of that report earth noise, basically, and there's no explanation why it's happening.
Well, it's like, those towns up in, was it Mississippi and that area, and maybe in Missouri, where they were getting those mystery booms and stuff. And then you've got the bloop that was out in the ocean that nobody knows where it came from. I think it's earth noise.
Yeah,
that bloop could have been anything.
Yeah,
I think it was.
You can't explain them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't explain them because I mean I don't know, when an earthquake hit, the epicenter for it was like 16 miles from my home. And when it hit, you could hear something grumbling real quick, and then it sounded like a vehicle or a big truck hit my house. I mean, just hit it.
Yeah.
And there are many people miles away that were reporting the same type of sound, and they thought somebody hit their house.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Deborah.
Y'all have a new boob.
We have a boo. But I mean, but we knew something was coming. We just didn't know where it was coming. Of course, we sit on a fault line here.
Right.
So we get the quakes a little. We get them frequently. Let's just go with that. That we get them frequently. Sometimes you can hear them. Sometimes you can feel them. And then sometimes you don't even know.
Yeah. Ristel says someone posted on Facebook today that proof that Bigfoot doesn't exist is because they never found an unalived after a hurricane. Shake my head. I agree. Shake my head. Kiss my butt. Um,
And you can
but
take it from me and Tex. The real.
Well, I've never seen a dead killer whale after a hurricane, so I guess killer whales aren't real either.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right. I mean, there are people that come up, they find people, but that's only because, again, their judgment was poor in the decision they made.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what
Hey,
happens.
real quick before I forget about it, folks, I need a little help. For some reason, I cannot breach the 5400. I have stalled, and my subscribers are they'll go up the last several weeks. I've been hitting, my subscriber count has been bouncing like 20 subscribers,
Mm-hmm.
but it won't go over a certain amount, but it keeps going up and
Mm-hmm.
down. I don't know
Right.
what's
And
going
we've
on.
had that too. I don't know
So
what's really.
So we really need y'all to
I've been
check and make
experiencing
sure
my own version of that as well.
you really need to check and make sure you were not unsubscribed. So if y'all could just check and make sure you're not unsubscribed. And if you are, please resubscribe.
Oh, really?
It's just like Deborah was saying, she's not sure how she got unmembered, or would that be dismembered?
Wrong show.
But she's happy to be back. So check that too. So yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Every time I lose subs, though, I always assume that it's someone who watches my show and be like, "Oh my god, that guy's such a dirtball. I'm unsubscribing." That's what I always assume.
And you find that, but YouTube and Roger Blair, you're right. YouTube has been acting real hinky for a while.
Is YouTube trying to keep my channel down? Oh no.
Well, that according to some people, that is what happens.
Must have been all of my.
Deborah checked. Wow, Tex, I was unsubscribed to your channel too.
Right. See? Well, thank you for checking that, though.
Yeah, thank you. And Arthur Neal, BJ, thank you. I appreciate you checking. And on that note, I got to go get ready for work.
Okay, then it's just going to be me and Donnie for a little bit.
I'm going to leave
we'll
you in
the show.
good hands of my little sister and my twin brother.
Oh,
there you go.
We are twins.
Good night, Tex.
We'll see y'all later.
Bye, other Donnie.
Yeah, right.
We're going to have to name him like Lonnie or something. The twins.
Thing one, thing two. Donnie, we ought to get t-shirts since I'm with my twin brother.
Oh yeah, just our faces together, just like twins.
Yeah, twins.
No, you know what we got to do? We got to Photoshop our faces over the movie poster of Twins.
There you go.
Schwarzenegger movie. There you go. It's a coming. I'm going to make that one.
I love it.
Oh no! Here we go. It's going to be a whole thing now.
It's going to be a thing. It's going to be a thing.
It is. Well, good night, Tex. Have a nice night at work, and we'll catch you later.
All right, we'll see y'all later.
Soon.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Y'all stay safe out there.
So I'm trying to figure out where we were. Tex always takes me down different rabbit holes, and I'm like, wait, I didn't even complete the thought from the last one. So I'm like, wait, hang on. I don't know. I just don't know. Like I said, this hurricane has got me all kinds of weirded out because it was so huge and it was spread over such a large area. Will we?
We've had a lot of bad ones though. We have had a lot of bad ones, and people are like, "Oh, these hurricanes are so terrible nowadays." I'm like, we've had some pretty horrific ones like 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Do I have to remind you of some of the real horrific ones? Like way worse, right? Like Katrina was real bad, and there were even worse ones than that, like
Hmm.
Galveston, Texas. The death count on that place, we've always had really bad hurricanes. It's not like there was a
Yeah.
time in our it's not like there was a time in our lives when we weren't having horrific hurricanes. Like I remember in the 80s growing up, seeing like
Yeah.
Hurricane Andrew and the devastation that caused, and you're just like, oh my God, it's like a nuclear bomb went off in some areas,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, Katrina
Um,
was bad.
yeah, I'm trying to think of when Andrew happened. Wasn't that 92?
I think it was like 92.
92 or 3, because I know
Yeah.
it was right before I got married to my first husband. Um, because he was in the military and we were actually stationed in Florida at the time,
Hmm.
and he had to be deployed to Homestead Air Force Base because of what the hurricane had done and went through there. Um, I mean, I had never seen such devastation in my life. There was like a hole that this building probably had about 20, 25 floors. I'm just going to take a wild
Yeah.
guess. 20, 25 floors. And there was a hole that went through one side and straight through it. You could see through it.
Hmm.
You could probably stack like 3 cars, maybe 4 on top of each other and just shove it in that hole.
Wow.
It was
What kind of
perfectly
building was it?
fine. Huh?
What kind of building was it?
I think it was an office building.
An office building with a hole like that, like straight through?
Straight on through
Dang.
it. Yeah, absolutely
Whoa,
straight
this is a
through it.
commercial property? Whoa,
Hmm.
that's
And it was very
bad.
strange. I mean, I wish I could find the pictures, but we're talking
Yeah. It
too
was
many
like
years ago
Godzilla
now.
punched it or something, right?
Right, like
Yeah.
somebody punched their hand through
Yeah.
it, a very large hand. Godzilla did it. I
Yeah.
blame him.
Yeah. He punched
And
the
there was
building.
other things. It was like all the government housing on the Air Force Base itself.
Hmm.
The one end of it, it's like you could see like half the house was gone.
Jeez.
And then the other part of the house was still there, and you could still see like they'd have a couch in there or pictures hanging on the wall. I mean, it was totally intact by looking at it. And I just couldn't believe it. And so I went over there to visit, because he was there for quite some time to visit.
Yeah.
And we had the only thing that we could stay in were they're accordions. Somebody out there probably knows the military term for them, but they're like accordion tents. They come in and you just
Yeah.
stretch them out, and it's got a wood floor in it. And I can't think of what a hooch or whatever they were
Hmm.
called at the time. Anyway, so and then they 2 of the showers at the pool made it so we could use the showers at the
Yeah.
pool, and they were still usable. And then the pool was fine. All they had to do was fish the the furniture out of it, the outside
Right.
furniture out of it. But that was it. But the pool was pristine. It was beautiful. You could go swimming in that all the time, and that's where you took your showers, at the
Yeah.
pool. Yeah. So I mean, it does some very strange things. Um, Miami pretty much was okay. I mean, it had some damage, but nothing like what the Air Force Base took. And to me, that's odd. How they're not that far apart, and how the Air Force Base took the brunt of it, and then Miami was okay.
It's weird how that happens sometimes.
Uh-huh.
I've been
It's
around,
kind of like the
you know,
tornadoes, how they can bounce around, they can hit one house and then bounce and skip another. It's very
every
amazing.
time I was in a hurricane or a really bad blizzard, I just look outside and I'm like, oh, so this is what it's like when God totally hates your guts.
Uh,
Right? Because it's like the earth hates you. It's like the earth is out to get you. I mean, growing up in New Jersey, we wouldn't get as many hurricanes, but we got some really bad like blizzards and whiteouts. So that's
mm-hmm.
something we always had to deal with, or ice storms. And
Right.
yeah, it's like the planet is out to get you, right?
Yeah.
It feels like that because you feel so helpless. And especially because, you got property, so you feel especially vulnerable because not just to your own well-being or the well-being of others, but now you have to worry about your actual property, right? And that's a big worry. And you feel you're just helpless. It's like, you know what? The planet just decides you're at its mercy.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. And but then there's the other side because we've talked about intellectual hauntings,
Mhm.
how they're very aware of their surroundings and what's happening around them. Do they know when something like this happens? I mean, can they, you know,
It's it's hard to tell, right? Because who knows if it's something that even affects them at all.
right,
They might
right.
not even notice it.
Because I'm trying to figure out, somebody had put out a video, and somebody was well known, and I can't remember. This has been a minute, but they were back in a house, but yet it was damaged by a tornado. And they were trying to ask questions, and trying to find answers or see if they could get answers about if they were aware that there was anything that happened, or if they saw that the damage that occurred, or are they just seeing this? I think it was like a house, but are they
Mhm.
seeing this house as it stood originally, or are they seeing what we're seeing today? When it came through and did the damage to the house, did they see that, or are they just still seeing the same house they always saw,
I think
when they
it's
were
different
alive?
for each entity, right? It's different for each
Yeah,
entity,
yeah, I think
and
so.
it's different for each type of haunting. I think some entities may. It depends on its mindset, I guess, because
Hmm.
different intelligent hauntings have different mindsets, I think.
I,
I
I, you
remember
know, I think you're right. I think
I
you're right,
was
and
reading
I
this
guess
one book. I think it was
I.
an Edgar Casey book where he was talking about like when they were started asking him what ghosts really were, and he
Mhm.
said that a lot of the majority of the ghosts or hauntings, like people don't notice because the ghosts don't notice either. He's like the majority of ghosts are like someone who's like stuck in a loop where they've they get up for work, they go to their job, and they come back from work, and it's been so part of their routine for so long that as ghosts they keep following that routine, and people
Yeah, a
don't notice them.
residual.
The ghosts don't notice them. It's just that's the majority of them, right? And I could see
Right.
that. And if you're that kind of ghost, I think they probably don't even notice,
Yeah, I think that's just residual,
right?
just the energy of caught in a loop, and it's just repeating itself over and
Or it
over.
could be a conscious thing because there are some people who are like that, right? Like their whole lives have been their jobs and they're just so focused on work and everyday routine for so long that it just
Yeah.
becomes their mindset,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that is
Not all,
true.
not
I
all,
mean,
yeah.
I guess it would depend on their level of
Level of
consciousness, you know what I mean?
consciousness and their life, and because there are other hauntings where it's like this one moment of extreme trauma, and that's the
Right.
thing that defines their mentality, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Right.
I mean that yeah, I could see that. I mean, I understand. But see, these are the burning questions that I have. It's
Hmm.
just kind of like, do you know that, the cars driving down the street are changing? They're not the same cars that were going down the street during,
Right.
your time when you were alive, or,
Right.
these are the questions that I'm trying to figure out, because I 100% know that there are spirits that are walking around.
Hmm.
They're with us every day, whether we want to believe it or not. I mean,
Hmm.
I've got too many pictures, I've got too much audio, I've got too much stuff to state that thing, that
Yeah.
there is something there. But I just want to know to what extent, what level their mindset is on, or that sort of thing. Because I mean, they've got it down to basically 3 levels of spirits, and that's basically intellectual, residual, and, say, a poltergeist haunting.
Hmm.
And I just, That's probably why I'll still ghost hunt probably until I can't. I'll still be out there looking for Bigfoot again until I can't. Because these are like burning questions. I want to know what they're thinking or what their routines are in the things that they do. And I believe we'll find out today. I think that our
Yeah.
powers that be know, and they're just going to have to give us those answers eventually one day. One day. I
Yeah.
hope it's in my lifetime. So I can go, ha, I told you so.
I think one day when we'll find out. When we're spirits, we'll be like, oh, so this is what it's like. Okay.
I know. I don't
Yeah.
want it to be then. I want it to still be when I'm walking the earth and breathing. You know what I mean? I want to be go, ha, see, told you.
See, I'm kind of the thing I'm optimistic about is my involvement in all this paranormal, supernatural, spiritual stuff, right? That we do here day in and day out. I feel like this will be training for me so that when I do become a spirit, I'll be like, oh, I know how this works. Oh,
Yeah,
I know
'cause
this
I can
game.
see
And
it.
then like I'm the only spirit who actually understands what's going on. And I'm like hacking the game.
Yeah, because I can
Because
see
I
it.
actually
Like,
understand, like, because you never see a spirit or a ghost of a person who was a ghost hunter.
not yet.
Not yet. But once
Not
people like us
yet.
become spirits, I think we'll own that world.
Yeah, because I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
we're
come
gonna
back and
own the
haunt
game. We're
people.
gonna be like the gnarliest ghosts.
I know. We should just make a
Yeah.
list or have some, everybody just kind of make a list on YouTube.
We're
Thank
gonna
you,
take
Two
advantage of
Shadows. I
it.
appreciate it.
We will
Make a
know.
list.
We'll understand. We're ghosts, and we understand like the whole nature. We're not like this guy in this loop. We're not like this mindset because we're former ghost hunters. We know how this game is played, so we will
Exactly.
use our ghost nature to our advantage.
Right. Right.
We will
And if you want to be
you know what I
haunted,
would do? I would just go into like, oh, I'm a ghost. Okay, I'm gonna go into like all these women locker rooms now. I'm gonna go like watch every movie at the theater. Just walk right in, not pay a ticket.
I
I'm gonna
know.
totally milk it because I'm the only ghost who actually knows what's going on.
Yeah, we're gonna be there for Godzilla 8032.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna go over to Bigfoot. I'm gonna be like the ghost of Donny Cho. Just walk up to Bigfoot and be like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Bigfoot?
What's happening?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's
That
up?
would be nice. That would be nice. But I figure after we'll pass, we'll get all the knowledge and answers we've been asking in this lifetime. And you're gonna be like, oh gosh, I wish you could have told me that earlier. Oh well. But enough with that, and I guess we're gonna just go ahead and kind of end the show. I am worn out. I'm still worn out. I have to go find out if I can get my mom's machine working now.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You've had a long couple of days.
Yeah, it has been a very
Yeah.
long couple of days. Very long couple of days. But
I'm also not at my best myself. I've been on like antibiotics for like the past week, getting over a really bad sinus infection.
everybody's been complaining of those.
Yeah, real bad one.
Everybody has been. And and at first I thought it was just because it was like harvest season,
Mm-hmm.
and they harvested everything. But I'm thinking that with all of this rain and the harvesting, I mean, with everything, it's no longer seasonal allergies. It has become an infection. Just because they are aggravated, the sinuses are, aggravated every day. And I think they're just like, they've had enough.
Yeah. I think there are other factors as well. Like I did notice I've had this thing for months now. And it kind of kicked off when this one day I got really sick and I think I caught the you know what. And then from that point on, like I felt like I've been dealing with this infection that whole time. So I was like, oh, okay, I see what happened. My immune system got all jacked up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And when you catch that thing,
Yeah.
everything goes haywire, and it doesn't. I mean, I think I got it like 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I've not been the same since. So
Yeah.
everything, my sinuses are worse than they've ever been.
Yeah.
I'm always having problems. So there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, I caught it last year, and that's right around the time when my show started getting really crazy too.
Yeah.
I tried to do a serious paranormal podcast show, and then I got sick, and then afterwards, the show got just ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know what happened,
It's
Brandi.
just something that happens,
It was just something that happened.
You gotta do it. You gotta
Yeah.
do it.
Oh, by the way, you missed a good show on Wednesday. It was sad that you weren't there on Paranormal
Yeah.
Show and Tell.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
had to send my other half, Krista, over.
Yeah. But we held it down, me, Krista, and Paul. And yeah, we talked about
Yeah,
the
because
Alaska Triangle.
well, yeah, because I told her, I said, because I was still at the hospital at the time, and this was at like, I think it was after 5 p.m. or something,
Yeah.
And I said, hey, I am still not home. I said, can you do the show for me tonight? And she's like, well, because she knows we like to research. She knows that we really, research our stuff and talk about things. And she's like, what are you guys talking about? She goes, I'm afraid I won't know. And I said the Alaskan Triangle. She goes, oh, okay.
Yeah. I didn't know it was on land. I thought it was like the Bermuda Triangle. I didn't know much about it, so that was news to me. So
right. And they were talking about something like so far 16,000 people have gone missing.
Yeah, like a
in that
crazy
area.
amount of people.
Yeah.
And it's not like there are a lot of people like traversing that area either. So it's like when you go hiking in there, you got a 50-50 chance of like making it back.
But right, because there was this one part that I was reading about this big airliner had went down in the triangle, and they could not find it.
Oh yeah,
Just couldn't find it. But then a little Cessna plane goes down, and they find it right away.
Maybe the transmitter was working that day.
They didn't. They could spot it.
Yeah.
Where the transmitter went down, unless something went haywire, because we've talked about, all kinds of strange things happening.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been, what do they call that? The negative, it's like a negative pole is what it is. And instead of like everywhere else, they have this negative pole, and it can mess with your electronics, in airplanes and vehicles, all kinds of stuff. So this thing could have just sent everything haywire, and they were up there with nothing.
Right.
Because they depend so much now on the electronics to fly these planes that they basically fly themselves. That's what they do.
Pretty much.
You just have somebody pushing a button and talking on the radio. Just, okay. And that's all they've got them for anymore, it seems like. I mean, of course, I'm not a pilot. I'm sure there's more to it. But like I said, now that they're like that, it's almost like when the Tesla, the self-driving car. You know what I mean? I don't trust that either.
Yeah, I wonder what airline pilots do when they're flying up there all those hours and they get bored. They're like just. I wonder if any of them take out like a book or something. Because there's two of them, right? One guy mans the ship. The other guy's probably just chilling. Checking stuff.
I mean, they could read a book, play cards. Hell, I don't know. I mean, it could be a
stories.
lot of fun stuff.
They probably tell stories.
Yeah. I mean, think about it though. What do we do when we're in a car? Somebody's
what I would
driving.
do? If I were an airline pilot, I'd be like, during the flight, I'd be like, turn to my co-pilot and be like, hey, so Bob, what do you know about Bigfoot? And just talk his ear off about Bigfoot the whole time. And then Bob's like sitting there. He's like, oh my God, I'm stuck in this cabin with this guy who won't shut up about Bigfoot. Oh no.
Right.
I'll be that guy.
Right. But, before we go, I just want to make sure that everybody checks out the new show on the Blondes and Booze channel. It is Paranormal Show and Tell. It's on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Central. So don't miss out on that, because like I said, we touch on some
Yeah.
different type of subjects, and we really look into these stories and start talking about them, and you know, I think it's just we're coming up with different plausible
And we got a lot of
ideas
fun
of
topics planned. We got a lot of real good ones
oh,
planned coming down the
oh yeah,
pipeline. Yeah. The list keeps getting longer and
yes,
longer too.
yeah, that's true, that's
Yeah.
true. But anyway, so everybody just stay tuned for tomorrow night at 7 p.m. because that is Paranormal Paul and Paranormal Among Us will be on at 7 p.m. Donny
Hmm.
Cho Says Stuff will be on at 8:30, and
That is
then
true.
BMR Late Night will be on at 11 p.m. Central. So tomorrow you've got your whole night covered.
We
And
got your
on Sunday,
Saturday night covered, folks. Come hang
yep.
out
Then
with
on
us.
Sunday at 5 p.m. Central, it's Truth or Tinfoil with myself and Randy Gilbert. And at 7 p.m., again, it will be Tex and Infamous Minds. So, hey, you got stuff to watch all weekend.
Mhm.
If you haven't got nothing else to do, like I don't, because it's going to be raining.
Yeah.
So now I have something to do. I'll be doing
Man,
laundry and watching shows.
man, there's always a show to be on or to listen to.
That's right.
It's
That's
nonstop.
right.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right, Donnie, you're going to have to cut us off there if you can
Oh, do I
find
do
that
it?
button.
Is there like an
Yep.
outro?
There is.
Let's
He's running our show for the first time.
okay, so I'll play the opening. That's the outro. We can use that as the outro.
We want the extra,
Oh, where's the extra?
not the intro, the extra.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.